Hey guys, this is Brian. Today I want to show you one of the quickest, easiest, fastest, and not the best, but the quickest and easiest way to prepare a seed bed for planting grass seed. This is an area that I did a lot of prep work to put the seed down, and it's coming in very nicely. In fact, this whole hill, the lower portion of it, I'm doing a lot of extraordinary efforts to prepare the seed bed. But at the top of the hill, it's different. I don't have the time or the energy to dig up the entire hillside and remove rocks and sift things down multiple inches into the ground to give a good root structure to the grass. But that doesn't mean that I want to just not put grass seed down. All of this section up here and on the other side of the fire pit up there is just so far away from the house that I'm going to do, I don't want to call it the lazy way because there is some effort here, but I'm going to do the fast method. If you've got a spot like this, then this will work for you. This is hard dirt. It's not like rock hard. See how it scuffs up? But it's bone dry, and there's lots of little rocks in here. There's probably a handful of big rocks deep down, and those I'm going to ignore. Now, to get this job done, you need a Scarifier. Now, I've got a couple Scarifiers in the garage. This is the Sunjoe's. This is the one that everyone touts as the best economical option. And the reason for that is because it just performs well, it's wide, and you get these hard tine blades that you can swap out. Now these flexible tines, these are good for kind of lightly power raking your lawn, trying to pick up old dead grass debris and things out of your leaf canopy. You'll see you also pick up other stuff from time to time on accident, kind of like your vacuum cleaner. But these are nowhere near as aggressive as these blades are. Now you can see this is a brand new, oops, I popped that off. This is a brand new blade. I haven't actually used it because I don't ever really want to use this in the lawn, at least since I bought this machine. I probably will use this later. That's beside the point. Because on the hillside, we want to dig down into the ground as much as we can and fluff everything up as best as we can. We're going to swap this thing out. So, you know, use your tool here. Pull those out. This is actually pretty simple to do. And then that just kind of shake that thing out. There it goes. There's my cat's butt. And then we just go ahead and take this and stick it in that little groove right there. All right, there we go. I had to use two hands, had to put the camera down. But then, yeah, you just throw that guy back in. All right. Now, unless you got one of those like fancy battery powered ones, which I don't own, you gotta get yourself a good long heavy duty extension cord, and it's got to be long enough to get to wherever your seed bed is. That's a long cord. Make sure there's a good heavy duty extension cord, especially if you're going a long ways like me. And then you want to set the depth to as deep as it goes. That way it's going to be digging as far into the ground as possible. All right, now with everything plugged in, you're literally just going to go back and forth and back and forth, and you're going to go back and forth this way. Just go back and forth a whole bunch of times, and that's really going to fluff up really that kind of 1/2 inch to 1 inch layer of soil. And then at some point you can come back over it with, just walk over it, just pick up any large stones or larger rocks that happen to come to the surface, flatten it out, and then it should be ready. For me, I'm going to not do this section over here because I have a bunch of piles of loose dirt that I'm going to use to distribute around into low spots later. But that doesn't really apply to you guys. All right, now I'm not going to put the whole darn thing on camera. That's just a waste of my time and yours. But you can see, here's the line right here. Then right here we get all fluffy. You're exposing a lot of these things, and you're picking up a lot of these rocks that are just barely below the surface. But right now, if you go over this a good handful of times in all directions, everything's going to start getting fluffy. And that's exactly what you want when you put the seed down on it. After every pass or after every run, I'm picking up the most obvious rocks because I don't want those in the seed bed. Plus they go crazy underneath the underneath the deck of the machine. I'm only wearing regular tennis shoes. I probably should be putting on boots. I might swap into some boots as I do more passes along the whole area. If you wait a second, watch the end of the video, I'll give you the after shot of the seed bed. All right, so only after about 10 minutes or so of running the machine back and forth over, I guess, half of my area, I wanted to say I ran it once and then I just pulled my rake. You see that rake right there? I just pulled the rake and I raked all of the loose dirt that I had pulled up into a pile, manually grabbed the large rocks that I found and kind of threw them off to the side. And then I ran the Scarifier blade across the area again and raked all of that dirt off to the side. And look, I got a nice pile of fluffy, clean dirt, relatively clean dirt. So now we've got basically a smooth surface and all of the fluffy dirt is over here. Now what you could do is you could take a shovel and just distribute this evenly. Or what I'm tempted to do, even though it takes some time, is grab my sifter and sift out all of the rocks out of this to make it even more fluffy and then spread it even. So down near the main line, I excavated about 15 inches down. Behind the concrete pad, I excavated about 4 inches down. Here, this is kind of like excavating 1 inch down very, very quickly. So this is a way to cover a large area and get a decent seed bed started for quick germination. Now the rooting of the baby grass that's going to go here isn't going to go as deep nearly as fast, maybe not ever. But at least we can take bare dirt and get some seed on it and get some grass growing as quick as possible. This is especially important for the hillside because with bare dirt on a hillside, you're always going to get erosion. All right, it's only been a couple hours of manual labor here in the yard. I'm getting close to being done. See my kids down there, wherever they are. There they are, down in the pool. I want to jump in with them. It's 100 degrees right now. Before I do that though, I'm sifting this pile of dirt through my sifter to distribute all around this area. This is about 230 square feet right here. I'm going to do the rest tomorrow over there. You do not have to take your pile and sift it through there if you don't think you need to. I am going over the top. That's what I do most of the time. I do a lot of manual labor. I go over the top. I do more manually than most people do. I enjoy it. Quite honestly, I like feeling sweat dripping down the sides of my face. So I'm going to finish that up, distribute it around, and jump in the pool with my kids. All right, now that's a lot of solid work, but it's a 15-foot by 14 pad, perfectly primed for grass seed. I'm going to go ahead and drop the grass seed now. I'm going to cover it up with some peat moss and a straw mat, kind of a straw blanket. And I don't know, in about 2 weeks, everything here is going to be green. All right, guys, all of the products that I used or referenced in this video, along with some good alternatives to those things, are going to link to down in the description below. There's just going to be one random link over to the website where I'll list them all out. In my opinion, the tools or the things that you buy aren't quite as important as the process that you're following. What I did here was a very quick and easy seedbed preparation for a hillside. And of everything that I talked about and used, the two most important things were the electric or battery powered Scarifier that you use and the straw blanket, which I didn't even really feature in this video. That straw blanket prevents erosion during the seeding process, keeps all of the seed in the soil where it's supposed to be until everything germinates and starts establishing itself. Depending on the grass seed that you're putting down, it could take a couple weeks or it could take a couple months. This is the fast way. This is the fast way to get a good seed bed. There are better ways to do a more substantial seed bed, which I have a full video about, which is linked up here in the corner.
please take a look at it if you're doing a small space especially, or if you're doing a very sensitive area where you really want a lot of good grass that's going to hold up over time, then please watch that video. And as always, thank you very much for your time.